Hello, class. Today we're looking at Chapter 1, Lesson 3, Cube Roots. So I want you to take a look at this cube right here. We figured out square roots in our last lesson. So looking at square roots, we were just coming up with this red area right here. I guess it's kind of harder for you to see when I have it that color. So we did the square root, the square of this is 3 times 3. There are 9 cubes here altogether. Well, when we're looking at cube roots, we want to know that there are 9 cubes right here. These are the 9 cubes. But then they go 3 wide, 3 deep. So it's going to be 3 times 3 times 3 to know how many are in all together. So if we have 9 here and we multiply it by 3, then it's going to be 27. The cube of this cube is 27. So let's put that into some words here. So a cube number is a power with an exponent of 3. So for example, for our cube that we just did, a cube number would be to the 3rd power. This is the exponent of 3. A number that is the cube of a whole number is a perfect cube. So in our example of 3 to the 3rd power equals 27, the perfect cube is 27. 27 is a perfect cube. It can be divisible by 3 times 3 times a number. The cube root of a number is the number that when used as a factor 3 times is equal to the given number. So using our same example, 3 to the 3rd power equals 27, the cube root is 3. Here's one more example. 4 to the 3rd power equals 64. 4 times 4 times 4. So let's do that for all 3 of these. So looking at this, the exponent is 3. Cube numbers are always 3. The perfect cube is 64, and the cube root is 4. Now we're going to look at some cube roots and how we can find cube roots or perfect cubes. So if we go over here, I went ahead and filled out. So perfect cube, if the number was 0, the number cubed is going to be 0. Let's do a different color. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 cubed, 2 to the 3rd power is going to be 8. 3 times 3 times 3, 27. 4 cubed, 64. 5 cubed, 125. 6 cubed, 216. 7 cubed, 343. 8 cubed, 512. 9 cubed, 729. And 10 cubed is going to be 1,000. Let's go ahead and stop with it right there. So with cubes, there can be a negative. So we've got to take that into mind. So 8 we already came up with was 2. So 2 times 2 times 2. So the cube root of the number is 2. Negative 125. So for it to be a negative, it has to be that the 5 is negative. Negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 equals negative 125. Our square or cube root is negative 5. This one is going to be 1, we know is 1 times 1 times 1. 64, if we look at the chart, is 4. 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. That equals 1/4. If you'd like, go ahead and try to do the next 3 on your own, and then check back with me to see if you got them correct. So for 216, the square is going to be 6, the cube root, excuse me. For negative 1, it's going to be negative 1. And for 1/27, it's going to be 1/3, 1/3. So the inverse of cubing a number is finding its cube root. The symbol means the cube root of a number. For example, the cube root of 1,000 means the cube root of 1,000, or the answer, the cube root, is 10. A cube-shaped packing box has a volume of 64 cubic feet. What is the side length of the box? The formula for volume of a cube is volume equals the number of sides to the third power. So our first method is to solve an equation. So the volume formula is the V equals S to the third power. When I plug our numbers in, 64 equals S to the third power. And so then we want to go ahead and find the cube root of 64. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So the cube root of S is going to be S. And of 64 is going to be, when we look at our chart there, 4. So that's the first method. The second method is you can just think of it as mental math. So if we have the number 64, what's the cube root of 64? We know from that chart up there it equals 4. A different cube-shaped packing box has a volume of 125 cubic feet. What is the side length of the box? So once again, if we mentally can know that what cube equals 125, we'll know that it's 5. Or we can put it in an equation if you're not sure. So the equation would be 125 equals S to the third power. So I'm going to get the cube. So that's going to equal S. Oh, that was my problem right there. I didn't have the cube. Equals 5. So it's going to be 5 feet. So let's solve this next equation. So whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Sorry, these are so small. Let's try to zoom in here. So we want to do this cubed root of x. Whatever we do to that side, we have to do to this side. So the cube root of x equals x. The cube root of 8, looking at our chart, or we might just know, is 2. And the cube root of 343 is 7. x equals 2/7. And our next one, why don't you try this one on your own? Press pause and then come back to me. Okay, so you're going to do the square root. This is what you should have done for both sides. X is going to equal 3, and 2/16 is going to equal 6. Sorry, so x is going to equal 3/6. Well, guess what? That could be reduced. 3 goes into both of them. Divide by 3. So x equals 1/2. In checking our understanding, the volume of a cube is 512 cubic inches. What is the length of its sides? Explain. Well, 512, if we think about that number, we realize that 8 inches is the cube root of 512. So the side length of a cube is the cube root of the volume. Therefore, the volume is 512 inches, and that means that the cube root is 8 inches. Go ahead and try the next 4 on your own, and then come back and see if you got them correct. So this first one, the cube root of 729 is going to equal 9. Cube root of 0 equals 0. Cube root of -8 means it's going to be a -2. And the cube root of 1/1000th is going to be 1/10. Your homework to do on a new note is going to be page 16 and 17, number 7 through 29 odd.